Well, good morning. It's 10 o'clock. My name is Pastor Charlene Barnes. I'm the pastor at St. John's Lutheran Church, and it is great to have you all here this morning for our children's reading of the Easter story. And we don't have to just be kids to be able to listen to this story. And I always think when we hear this story in a different way, it always allows us to open up to what God has for us to hear. Because every time we hear the story, we might hear something different. So, like I said just before, we're using the Spark Storybook Story Bible. There we go. So here is the page for today, Christ the King. There we go. And see, the priests were mad at Jesus and wanted to get rid of him. What will happen to us if the people follow Jesus? They grumbled. So they made a plan. Let's take Jesus to the governor, Pontius Pilate. He can get rid of Jesus. And when Pontius Pilate saw Jesus and he asked, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus didn't answer. Pilate thought kings ruled over countries and people. And Jesus knew that his power was about loving God. And Jesus' kingdom was not the same. Pilate was frustrated. Some people wanted to kill Jesus, but Pilate didn't think Jesus had done anything wrong. And Pilate didn't want any trouble, so he handed Jesus over to the people. The priest smiled, and soon Jesus would be gone. Jesus knew that he would die, but that wouldn't be the end of the story. Jesus knew God's plan too. The day Jesus died was a very sad day when Jesus died. The soldiers who had arrested Jesus teased him for pretending to be a king. They took his clothes and put a king's purple cloak on him. They made him a crown of vines with sharp thorns and put it on Jesus' head. Ouch! And the soldiers made Jesus carry a heavy wooden cross. And the cross was too heavy for him. And Jesus fell and skinned his knees, and the cross tumbled to the ground. A man in the crowd carried the cross the rest of the way for Jesus. You can see that? It's a heavy book. See there, all the people, they're crying. The soldiers nailed Jesus' hands and feet to the cross, and they raised Jesus' cross up on a hill between two other men. The other men were thieves, and they were being crucified too. One of the men was angry with Jesus. "If you are a powerful king, can't you save yourself? Why don't you save us too?" And the man spat at Jesus. But the other thief believed in Jesus, and he shouted back, "Don't you know who this is? This is God's Son. He hasn't done anything wrong, and we are being punished for our mistakes. But Jesus shouldn't be here." And the man turned to Jesus and asked, "Will you take me to heaven with you?" And Jesus looked at the man and loved him. And Jesus told him, "Yes, today we will be in heaven together." You see here, we have the three crosses on the hill. It says, "After a while, the world grew very dark, as if a terrible thunderstorm was coming. It was as if all of creation was crying because Jesus was about to die. Now Jesus was feeling all alone and prayed to see if God was still there. Of course, God never left Jesus, and God was with him the whole time. Now Jesus looked at the crowd, and he was so sad that people didn't believe that he was God's son. He asked God to forgive them for killing him, and the soldiers offered him some sour wine, but he didn't want to drink it. He was ready to die. And finally, Jesus had fought for long enough, and he said, God, the work you gave me to do here is finished. And he breathed a final, long, slow breath, and then he died. But then, on Easter morning, it was early in the morning on the third day after Jesus died. The sky was pink and red with the first light of the sun, and the women didn't notice the sky. They hurried to the cave that contained Jesus' body. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, led the way. Two others, Salome and Joanna, carried the spices to rub on the body of Jesus. They had a job to do. But when the tomb of Jesus came into sight, they froze. Oh, they had forgotten about the huge stone that sealed the opening to the cave. How would they ever move it? And the women kept going to the cave anyway. And as they came closer, the women could see that the stone had already been rolled away. Oh, look at the surprise on their faces. Look at the surprise on their faces when they looked in and it was open. And they peeked inside. Oh, it was dark in there. It was cold in there. Drip, drop. It was damp in there. What? It was empty in there. Jesus was gone. An angel appeared in sparkling white clothes. The glow from the angel brightened even the darkest corners of the cave, and the women shielded their eyes from that blinding light. Don't be afraid, the angel said. Jesus isn't here. This is a place for the dead, and Jesus is alive. Hurry, the angel said. Go tell the disciples. And the women did not delay. They ran to tell Jesus' friends what they had seen and heard. Oof! Mary bumped into a man, tripped and fell at his feet. Wait, she knew those feet. A familiar hand reached out to help her. Wait, she knew that hand. And she looked up, and yes, she knew that smile. It was Jesus. Hello, friends, Jesus said. And Jesus was really alive. The women hugged his feet and shouted with joy, Go tell others the good news that I am alive, Jesus said. I will meet them in Galilee, and I can't wait to see them again. The women had a new job to do. They had to tell everyone that Jesus was alive. So what would you do? What would you have done if you were the one of the women and saw the angel in the cave? Would you be surprised? Would you be happy? What would you be? Oh, I don't know if you saw this. Look at the cute little worm down there. I like the little worm. He's cute. And that is the end of the story for today. So thank you all for joining us and being a part of this story. What we hope to do for our kids of our congregation is to be able to have a children's reading every Wednesday for them to be able to listen into. And then I'm also going to be starting a book series. I'm going to start with The Velveteen Rabbit, and then I will be working my way into Anne of the Green Gables. And so be on the lookout for information about that. So thank you for coming and being a part of this morning. I hope you're able to find some great things to do in this wonderful weather. and enjoy your day. And we will see you on Easter morning tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. God bless. Bye.